taking a weekend off. They have left Surprise, Arizona to come up to Las Vegas, Nevada. Along a host of AAA baseball today. It's the Major League variety as the Rangers prepare to take on, for the first of 2 games this weekend, the Chicago Cubs. And welcome to another new season of Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest. Couldn't be more delighted to be back with Tom Grieve. I'm Dave Barnett. And when you think about everything that's going into this season for the Rangers, has to be the most anticipated in the 40-year history.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that, Dave. And I think this game is a little bit anticipated for the players that are here. Most players will tell you spring training can get a little bit dull. So halfway through it, to have the opportunity to get on the road, to take a plane, to come to Las Vegas, an exciting place to be. Looks like the weather's going to hold up. Got Derek Holland on the mound for the Rangers, so a little more than a spring training game. At least it has the feel of that.
Should be a fun show. It is Derek Holland getting his 3rd start of the spring. He's been pretty sharp so far. Off the heels of his heroic effort in the World Series. Back for the first pitch. John's. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. By Captain Morgan. Raise your glass, always in moderation. By Ozarka brand 100% natural spring water. And by Dairy Queen. DQ. That's what I like about Texas. And at Cashman Field in Las Vegas, the Chicago Cubs take the field. They're the home team today. It'll be the Rangers as the home team tomorrow. We'll also have that broadcast right here on Fox Sports Southwest, also at 3 o'clock. Overcast, very cool. Temperature has been in the low 50s. And very very windy. That is whipping in from right center field. So this, on occasion, can be a great home run park. Today does not figure to be one of those days. For the Rangers, they come in 3-9-1. They have won only one of their last 9 games. The Chicago Cubs are 6-8 so far in Cactus League play. And here is the Rangers starting lineup today, as brought to you by the City of Surprise. It'll be Elvis Andrus leading off, followed by Julio Borbone in center, Josh Hamilton in left, Adrian Beltre batting cleanup and playing third, just ahead of right fielder Nelson Cruz. First baseman today is Mitch Moreland. Yorvi Torrealba catching and batting seventh. The DH is Joey Butler. And at second base, batting ninth, Matt Keita. And that lineup is drawn up by Ron Washington, the Rangers skipper, returning to the club after a very difficult week. He had to go back to New Orleans to attend the funeral of his brother-in-law, but he's back with the club here. Both starters today are brought to you by Dairy Queen. Derek Holland, we said, about to make his third spring start, as is Jeff Samardzija.
Yeah, the Rangers obviously aren't very familiar with Jeff Samardzija, but a lot of Rangers have watched him play not only on the baseball field, but also on the football field. He was a great wide receiver at Notre Dame. He was a 5th-round draft pick in 2006. The Cubs had to give him a lot of money for a 5th-round pick to buy him out of football. And last year was kind of a breakthrough year for him. He had an ERA under 3. He appeared in 75 ball games, had about a strikeout per inning, few too many walks. I think the Cubs feel that after last season, that should be a springboard into the development of Jeff Samardzija as a frontline pitcher.
Elvis Andrus swings. It's a high chopper to Junior Lake at shortstop for the first out. Probably have already noticed we do not at the moment have our center field camera, the one that peers in over the shoulder of the pitcher. We are working on that, and hopefully we'll have it online very soon. So, Julio Borbone. Borbone trying to regain his former status with the club, as he would love again to be the top choice in center field. Josh Hamilton has played a lot of center. Craig Gentry not so much lately, as he continues to nurse a sore left wrist. This one is popped up sky high on the right side of the infield and taken by the second baseman Adrian Cardenas, route number 2.
Dave, you were talking about the wind a little bit earlier. It is blowing kind of from the right field corner in a little bit toward the left field corner. It's not going to help a left-hand hitter, but if a right-hand hitter gets one up in the air from the middle of left field toward the line, I think it'll have a pretty good effect on that. Pretty good day for the pitchers, at least the right-hand hitters, to keep the ball down.
Josh Hamilton going after the first pitch and fouling it back. Josh hampered a little bit this week by a jammed heel, suffered chasing down a double into the left field corner at Surprise. Spring numbers not that impressive, but what is, Tom, is the shape that Josh has reported in this year.
Yeah, and for a guy like Josh, you don't worry about spring numbers. Josh has talked about being comfortable at the plate, and that's something he's working on. And, you know, when you're a regular and a frontline player, you have the luxury of working on things, gearing up for opening day. If you're a younger player trying to make the team, you've got to perform. So you don't really have that luxury. But with Josh, you just want to make sure on April 6th that his timing is down. But he looks great, feels great. And it's just a matter of getting comfortable at the plate.
An impressive first inning by Jeff Samardzija as the Rangers are retired in order. Cubs coming to bat. Derek Holland on the mound as our starting pitcher, brought to you by Dairy Queen. His first 2 starts, he has a win, no losses, a 3.60 ERA. Here is the Cubs batting order, as brought to you by the City of Surprise. Reed Johnson leading off in right. Blake DeWitt is at third. The former Ranger Alfonso Soriano is in left batting third, ahead of the center fielder Joe Mather. First baseman is Brian LaHare. Wellington Castillo doing the catching. Junior Lake hitting 7th at short. Adrian Carn, this is at second, of the pitcher, Jeff Samardzija.
Derek Holland trying to pick up this year right where he left off last year. Last 3 months of the year, he was terrific. He won 10 out of his last 11 decisions. He pitched well in the postseason, especially his last start in the World Series. And you're seeing the maturing of a young pitcher. And he wants nothing more than just pick up right where he left off and continue to develop his pitches, his command. And he's definitely headed in the right direction.
Count even at a ball and a strike to Reed Johnson. Starting his second season of his second stint with the Chicago Cubs. And there's 1-1 pitch, threw it right by him at 94 miles an hour. Derek has a pretty high opponent batting average this spring. It's 300, but he has not walked a batter. This is the 23rd batter he's faced, and he takes care of Reed Johnson with another cut and a miss.
Yeah, nothing fancy right there. Just good fastballs. That one looked like it had good tailing action on it. Moved away from Johnson. Probably swung at a pitch a little bit out of the strike zone. Back that angle definitely shows it was out of the strike zone. But the movement had something to do with that.
One gone. Here's the third baseman, and Blake DeWitt looks at ball one. DeWitt tearing it up this spring. With a 462 average. Chops this one foul. DeWitt over from the Dodgers at the trade deadline in 2010. This is a team that has really had a makeover in the offseason. 16 new faces on the Cubs' 40-man roster. This wasn't working last year. They finished 71 and 91. And DeWitt able to check 2 balls and a strike. Derek now at 5 1/3 spring innings has struck out 6. And this one will be an easy play for Keita, who handles it for out number 2.
Yeah, both pitchers off to good starts. Samardzija threw the ball well. Great fastball. Got Josh on a pretty good off-speed pitch. And Derek coming right at the first 2 hitters, a strikeout and a little jam shot blooper to second base.
So with 2 outs, Alfonso Soriano batting third, playing left field today. And Soriano having a sensational spring. He's hitting .450, 4 homers, and has driven in 6 runs. Holland cranking strike 1 right past him. Those 4 homers for Soriano tied for the Major League spring lead with Travis Snyder and Ryan Rayburn. Yet again, 0-2.
Late on the fastball. Derek just sitting back and firing strikes, throwing it hard, and so far the Cubs are having a tough time with that.
Holland's 0-2 pitch. Broken bat speared by a leaping Adrian Beltre. Nice first inning turned in by Derek Holland. We're scoreless headed to the second. Suit up for spring training at the official online shop of the Texas Rangers with the largest selection of authentic spring training gear, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get set for spring at the official online source, the TexasRangers.com shop. Ready for the second inning as Samardzija and Holland retire 1-2-3 fashion in the first. Top three hitters in the Ranger lineup unable to get anything out of the infield, and now it's Adrian Beltre. He'll be followed by Nelson Cruz and Mitch Moreland. Found Adrian during the offseason trying to make sure that his legs will be in the best possible shape and hopefully avoid the hamstring injuries that popped up a couple times last year.
Yeah, and in that regard, I guess Nelly Cruz was trying to do the same thing. Changed his workouts, trying to avoid the leg injuries that he had several times last year. I'd love to see the numbers that Nelly Cruz could put up in 150 games.
Well, you look at his numbers last year in right out about 2/3 of the season. And just below 30 homers, 90 RBIs, so the math is pretty easy.
Yeah, with Adrian, it's pretty much the same thing. Missed pretty much a solid month of the season with his injury.
And after getting out in front, Samardzija now has run the count full. Well, if you stretch him about 5 more inches in height, put that glove on the other hand, it looks like you're looking at Randy Johnson Jr. He is really rocking that mullet. This pop-up will be handled by the first baseman, LaHare. Nelson Cruz will be the batter, having a very good spring so far. As we look at our Reliant power numbers. And Nelly, one of the top 4 batting averages in camp so far. To go with the average of 333, 1 homer, 6 runs batted in. Broken bat, diving stop. DeWitt scrambles to his feet and throws out Cruz.
It looked like Nelly hit the ball off the end of the bat. Looked like it was also headed for a base hit, but didn't have a lot on it. Nevertheless, DeWitt made a nice diving play on it. Take a look right here. Bat splinters. Nice play by DeWitt. Gets up and makes a play at first base. Talked about Holland, pretty much 94 miles an hour in the first inning. Samardzija, the same thing and a tick higher. Most of his fastballs have been 95, 96 miles an hour. He's got a great arm.
And he has retired the first 5 Ranger batters in order. Now Mitch Moreland.
I saw Samardzija quoted in the offseason as saying it's a big year for him. He has to prove that he's a frontline big league player, because with every year his football window of opportunity goes away. So if at the beginning of his contract he was thinking, if it doesn't work out for baseball, I can always go back to football, that's probably not there anymore.
Mather comes in to retire Moreland, and Jeff Samardzija again sets down the Rangers in order. Derek Holland set to work in the bottom of the second inning, and he will face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters out of the Dale Swain's lineup. Joe Mather, Brian LaHaye, and Wellington Castillo. First of 2 weekend games between these two clubs here in Las Vegas. Tomorrow afternoon at Cashman Field for another 3 o'clock telecast on Fox Sports Southwest. Pitching matchup will be Matt Harrison against Chris Volstad. It's split squad action. Back in Arizona, Mini Rangers will take on Milwaukee. As Holland starts Joe Mather with strike 1.
And if you're Joe Mather, having watched the first inning, you had to go up there thinking you're going to get a fastball and probably a strike. Instead, Derek tossed that breaking ball in for a strike.
Fastball here at 95 miles an hour. And chopped over to Elvis Andrus with a nice stretch at first by Mitch Moreland. So 4 up and 4 down. And the Cubs still yet to get anything out of the infield, as the first baseman Brian LaHaye will step up. Derek able to feature pretty much exclusively fastballs in the first inning. Seems to be here in the second trying to work in the off-speed stuff that he has worked on very diligently this spring. Knowing as good as his fastball is, gotta have more than just heat. Showed the St. Louis Cardinals what he's capable of doing, his entire arsenal. And ahead of LaHaye at 0-2.
Yeah, the way he finished in the last 3 months, he showed pretty much every team in the American League the same thing. He was one of the better starting pitchers in the American League the last 3 months of the year.
Grounded to Moreland. Holland covering for out number 2.
Well, it's just a case of a kid with immense talent finally putting it together. And you'll hear the Rangers talk about Tanner Scheppers the same way, that the stuff is there. It's just a matter of when the light goes on, when it all comes together, bang, you have the chance for a frontline pitcher. Seems to be happening for Derek.
Dr. Pepper brings you excellent savings for most April and May Rangers home games. Upper level tickets for only $10 or Lexus Club Terrace tickets for $15. Bring any Dr. Pepper or Diet Dr. Pepper can to Rangers Ballpark or enter Dr. Pepper as the coupon code on TexasRangers.com. Here's the catcher, Wellington Castillo. 2 outs, nobody aboard. And first pitch, a curve that just misses a little bit low and in. By the time to make the comparison with Tanner Scheppers. And yesterday, Tanner, a big bright spot, relieving Greg Reynolds, who struggled against the Dodgers. Scheppers retired all 6 batters he faced, 2 on strikes. Just past a diving Peta, and Castillo becomes the first base runner of the game for either team. Talking with Mike Maddox about Scheppers' performance yesterday. As you look at again the base hit. And Mike said he hopes that yesterday shows Tanner Scheppers what he is capable of doing. Just let things flow. At the point of his career where no doubt he hoped to have already been a major leaguer for a year or 2 at least. So that can lead to some pressing. But Maddox hoping that Scheppers learned something yesterday.
Well, it's not a secret what he has to do. From the time he first came to big league camp, lit up the radar gun, got everybody excited. The one thing he's been unable to do is throw quality strikes, be consistent. And yesterday he did that for 25 or 35 pitches. And what he has to do is put that together over the course of a season. I think the Rangers, as we said yesterday, probably be a little bit disappointed if at some point in time this year he's not a strong candidate, if needed, to come up and pitch in relief for the Rangers.
Holland allows the 2-out single to Castillo. Nothing more in the second. Dave Barnett with Tom Grieve at Cashman Field in Las Vegas. So far, an impressive performance turned in by both starting pitchers, as Jeff Samardzija has retired each of the first 6 Rangers he has faced, allowing only 1 ball out of the infield. And the bottom third of the order here in the Ranger third: Torrealba, Joey Butler, the DH, and Matt Cata. Derek Holland almost matching Samardzija pitch for pitch in the first 2. Only allowing the base hit by Castillo. Tom, you talked about Jeff Samardzija and his outstanding football career at Notre Dame. He was first team All Big East in baseball. He was first team All America in football. And just the perfect wide receiver build, too, in this era. 6'5", 225.
Yeah, that had to be a tough decision for him to make, whether or not to go into baseball, knowing he was going to have to go to the minor leagues. The Cubs made it a little bit easier for him by giving him a large bonus. I think he got somewhere around $10 million to play baseball. I think there was no guarantee he could get that much money in football, but coming right out of college, he had a much better chance to go into the NFL than he did into Major League Baseball. But as time has gone on, it looks like he's made a good decision.
Last year, 8-4, ERA of 2.97 in 75 relief appearances. 5th round pick out of Notre Dame by the Cubs in 06. He was in the majors just 2 years later. This one will drift back well into the seats. Yorvi Torrealba with Mike Napoli still being very careful with his ankle that he sprained in the World Series and tweaking a groin here in camp. Torrealba getting a lot of work, and he swings and misses. The second strikeout of the day for Samardzija.
Samardzija's fastball is mid-90s. That looked like a slider that he struck Torrealba out with. Also has thrown a couple of changeups in the game. But last year, 75 appearances, 88 innings. This year, it would appear he's being groomed to be a starting pitcher. And with the pitches we've seen today, he's got a pretty good complement of pitches that would lead you to believe he could be a starting pitcher. Big, strong kid with a great arm. Throwing a lot of strikes today, too.
Out in front of Joey Butler here, no balls and 2 strikes.
That's one thing about his spring coming into the game. He pitched twice, 6 innings, hadn't walked a batter. Last year in 88 innings, he walked 50 batters. So as you looked at his line last year, the one spot where you saw room for improvement would be command of his pitch, because he only gave up 64 hits in 88 innings. And so far in spring training, he's into his 9th inning without a walk.
Butler unable to hold up on that one. Pitch was outside, but it's back-to-back strikeouts. That's just the 3rd spring at-bat for Joey Butler. So 8 up and 8 down for Samardzija. He now has the number 9 hitting second baseman, Matt Cato. High, not deep to center field. And Mather puts it away. All 3 innings have gone 1, 2, 3 for Jeff Samardzija. With the Rangers' 20-game plan, you will save up to 33% off box office prices and lock in the priority to purchase postseason ticket strips. Choose from 3 20-game plan schedules or select your own games with a Fan's Choice 20. To secure opening day, reserve your plan no later than tomorrow. For details, visit TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Very different type game from yesterday. And the Rangers quickly fell behind the Dodgers at one point 4-0 and ended up losing that one 5-2. Derek Holland in his first 2 innings has given up only the base hit by Castillo in the 2nd. And here in the bottom of the 3rd, 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Adrian Cardenas, Jeff Samardzija, and Reed Johnson. And we welcome the Rangers skipper to our show, Ron Washington. Washington, good to see you back. Had to be a very difficult weekend with the loss of your brother-in-law.
Well, it was, and I'm very happy to be back. And, you know, everything is good at home, as can be expected. And now we can get back to concentrating on baseball.
Wash, I'm interested to get your take on the 2 games in Las Vegas. Do you view it as a disruption of your routine or kind of a welcome change of pace? How do you look at it?
I look at it as a welcome change of pace. You know, I mean, these guys are grown. They get a chance to have a little fun and still come to the ballpark and do what they love to do. That's play baseball.
Wash, I think a lot of fans wondered if there would be any hangover from the World Series last fall. Have you seen any of that in the clubhouse?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen anything of the sort. You know, they've been getting after it. You know, it may not show up in the win column down here, but I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing with my regular guys. And, you know, here pretty soon, you know, we're going to start putting them out there a little longer. And from that point on, we'll get ready for April. But, nope, I haven't seen any hangover.
If anything, would you say that the guys are even more motivated?
Well, we certainly should be. We're American League champions. We certainly are capable of playing very good baseball, and we have that belief. And, you know, we're just trying to think about where we are. We're in 2012 right now, and once April the 6th roll around, we'll take it a game at a time. I do know that we'll win more than we'll lose, and then at the end of the year, we'll see where that put us.
You know, Wash, it's pretty obvious that Derek Holland has really come on as a starting pitcher the last half of the season and then in postseason. As you look at Derek, how would you compare him now to when he first started to pitch in the big leagues? What are the strong differences in him?
Very mature. I think he's more than anything else. I think he's learned when he get in trouble to minimize the damage, and that was one thing prior that I didn't see a lot of. He got in trouble and it perpetuated. But now when he gets in trouble, he knows what he has to do. And, you know, he's grown up. He's matured a whole heck of a lot.
Count runs full here to Adrian Cardenas. Remember, Derek has yet to walk a batter in the spring. This is his 3rd outing. Well, that one chopped. Second baseman Keita hurries and just does get it in time to Moreland.
Wash, I've been reading of all the teaching you've been doing in spring training. Who are some of the guys you've been working with? And I know that's part of the game that you love, but talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know, we brought in some middle infielders, and with David running spring training, he's been pretty busy. So I've just taken on the job of making sure that I get out there and get my eyes on these guys. So when we have to make a choice, I certainly have a good idea of what I'm getting. And I think our scouting department has done a great job of bringing us in some nice little young infielders, and they've been doing a good job. And and I've certainly been enjoying the fact that every morning at 8:15, 8:30, I have something to do after the meetings and get out there and have some fun and, you know, deliver some knowledge and hope that it helps.
Ron Washington visiting with us as part of Papa John's Sounds of the Game. And Samardzija, the batter. And Holland falls behind now, 2 balls and a strike. Wash, split squad situation this weekend. Robbie Ross going against Milwaukee today back in Surprise. Can you talk about the sensational start that Robbie has had this spring?
Well, you know, he's a very, very, very mature kid. Nothing rattles him. He can hit his spots. He has nothing overpowering, but he's able to throw 3 pitches for strikes, and he gets it done quickly. He throws the contact. He doesn't use a whole lot of pitches, and we certainly like what we're seeing so far. And I wish him all the luck in the world today.
Is he pitching so well that you really are going to consider keeping him in the bullpen as opposed to letting him get starts in the minors?
Well, you know, as he being one of our young upcoming kids in the minor leagues, I think that'll be a discussion that we'll all have. And when we make a decision on that, I think we'll get many, many opinions. And it's really going to be what's best for Robbie Ross and what's best for the Texas Rangers. And then we'll make that decision. In the meantime, I just hope he makes it tough on us and continue to throw the baseball the way he is throwing it right now. And don't wake up.
You love having problems like that one.
Yes, we do. And can you understand? We're talking about that in the Texas Rangers organization. We have depth in pitching. And we have a lot of good arms, and some of those arms still have a lot to learn, but they are good arms. And if they stay healthy, they will make an impact at some point in their career while they are a Texas Ranger.
Derek Holland out in front of Bree Johnson here. No balls and 2 strikes.
Now, Wash, I guess there's a dramatic difference when you look back to your first couple of years with the ball club and spring training as you tried to put your starting staff together. Compare it then to now, where you've got probably 7 or 8 guys that you'd be very happy with. That's a nice problem for a manager to have, isn't it?
Well, that's a great problem for a manager to have. You know, we given our young kids an opportunity, maybe before they were ready, and some of them got a chance to see what it's like to get through a real major league season, and in the process, they have grown. And you know, I think you have to give credit to Mike Maddox and our minor league pitching staff and Andy Hawkins for the way that they've kept their head on their shoulder and kept them moving forward. And that's what it's about. You can't always go out and buy the pitching you want. You have to develop it, and I think we as the Texas Rangers are headed in a pretty good direction of doing just that.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Johnson's staying alive, barely. He struck out to begin the game. Only strikeout recorded by Derek so far. Until now. Ron Washington, we appreciate the visit.
Well, I thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
That takes care of the bottom of the 3rd. It's the Rangers nothing and the Cubs nothing here in Vegas. Scoreless into the top of the fourth, the Rangers and the Chicago Cubs. And we welcome to the booth Rossi Carter, the president and CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Rossi, welcome. What was it that brought about this two-game series?
Well, you know, this is the 30th season for the Las Vegas 51s. We're an affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays, and 22 years ago we thought we could bring in some major league teams for spring training, and that was the genesis of it, and it's been highly successful over the years. It allows us to kind of bring in baseball for the season for us, the people who live here, and bring in the teams and be able to reach their fans.
You know, Rossi, about 8 or 9 years ago, the Rangers were scheduled to play 2 games. We came here and got rained out both times. As we were getting ready for the flight, the forecast looked a little bit shaky, but so far so good.
So far so good. I remember that, and you know, I got up this morning and said it's going to be a great day, and you know, it's nice. It's a little bit overcast, but it's really good. So,
of course, Las Vegas hosts a lot of sporting events. Boxing comes to mind, rodeo. You see maybe in the future this becoming a real hallmark event in the spring?
It has been, like I said, for the 22 years. It brings on Major League Baseball for us. But this month, for example, March Madness is going on with the basketball tournaments. Next year, we're going to host 4 of the college leagues here, the WAC Conference, the WCC, the Pac-12, and the Mountain West. And so it allows us to bring people in and get a great television exposure.
3 balls and a strike now to Elvis Andrus, who grounded to short in the first. Borbone and Hamilton will be next here in the fourth. Up the middle, and the first Ranger base runner of the day, Elvis Andrus. After working the count to 3-0, then 3-1, and got a good pitch to hit.
You know, Rossi, I know there's a lot of new things in Las Vegas. Are there some things you'd like to talk about in that regard?
Yes, you know, we have over 150,000 rooms, so we have a price point and a product for everyone. Great attractions, but, you know, we just opened up the Smith Center downtown as a performing arts theater, which is going to have Broadway plays and great entertainment. And then the Caesars Entertainment Group is building Project Link, currently a $550 million project itself.
What about the Mob Museum?
Mob Museum, our former chairman and former mayor of Las Vegas, that was one of his projects. It just opened up. It's the history of the mob, and it's a history of the FBI and so forth, and it's a great attraction. And the first week they did over 10,000 people there. Wow. So it's another thing for people to see when they come to Las Vegas. In fact, that Link project is going to have the high roller wheel, which will be the world's largest Ferris wheel.
Borbone slashes the base hit to left. Andrus running all the way, and a head-first dive, safe at third, but out at second base is Borbone.
Now, the perfect execution of the hit and run. Great job by Borbone getting the bat on the ball. Elvis, with a good jump, is able to take third base. Borbone maybe a little overly aggressive trying to get to second base, though. Ball's right in front of him. Got a chance to have first and third and nobody out, and really never had a real good chance to get to second base. Good job of handling the bat, though.
So the Rangers back-to-back base hits, and Josh Hamilton way out in front. He struck out his first time up. Rossi Carter with us, president and CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. I think Bugsy Siegel would like that mob.
Well, he has a place there, so he probably would enjoy it, yes.
My next question is, why didn't you get Elton John to stay on through our stay here?
Well, they rotate.
Let him get away.
Yeah, no, well, the Coliseum at Caesars, they rotate the entertainment there, and that's part of their entertainment offering to people. But, you know, it's Elton John, it's Celine Dion, you know, they have Rod Stewart, Shania Twain, so it's a rotation.
You know, in your position, you've probably seen them all. Who's been your favorite performer?
Well,
you have one?
We market the entire city and funded by room tax, so we love all the hotels, we love all the entertainment. But I've seen all the way from Frank Sinatra to the Beatles to Elton John and Rod Stewart, Celine Dion, all the entertainment. So it's been
tough to pick a winner out of that group, isn't it?
Tough to pick a winner because they're all great.
Samardz's 1-2 pitch, and Hamilton stays alive. Elvis Andrus at third with one out, and the Rangers with a great chance here to get the first run of the game on the board. Rossi, do you have favorite events? I mean, you live here, you know, work from the business side of the entertainment industry here. But are there certain shows that you just like to go to as a fan?
Well, you know, you like all the different things. It's a variety that we do have. But seeing the National Finals Rodeo, which is the Super Bowl of rodeos, is great. The NASCAR race, which just ended last weekend, you know, the best of NASCAR. So we have such diversity. So you get an opportunity to see all types of sporting events. Big League Weekend, for example.
That is through on the right side as Josh Hamilton drives in Elvis Andrus, and the Rangers take a 1-0 lead.
You know, we have the Mako Las Vegas Bowl, which is a college football bowl game. So United Fighting Group, the UFC is here, the championship fight. So we have a great variety, but the best of the best of sports is in special events are held here in Las Vegas.
Now, how did the downturn in the economy affect attendance in Las Vegas, and where do you stand now that it's kind of come back a little bit?
It is coming back. We've had 23 straight months of increased business. Just like the rest of the country, we were impacted by the recession. We did have a slowdown, but this past year in 2011, we had almost 39 million visitors, the second highest. This year, we should attract 40 million visitors, which will be a record. So people are coming back. The strength of our brand is there, and so people enjoy coming to Las Vegas for business as well as for pleasure.
Right.
Just outside the Beltray, ball and a strike. Hamilton at first after his first RBI of the spring. 3 straight singles to greet previously untouched Jeff Samardzija here in the 4th. He retired the first 9 in order. And a pop-up. Chased by Castillo just over the backstop, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. I heard, and Mike Maddox told me this, he should know, Las Vegas. Are there 40,000 hotel rooms in Las Vegas?
That's 150,000. 150,000.
He's way behind.
150,000 rooms. So, you know, we have, like I said, we have such a variety in all types of hotels, and they all have great amenities with spas and golf courses and entertainment and the dining and the shopping. We're known for all of those things now.
Bounces in. Stopped by Castillo. 2 balls and 2 strikes. UNLV has had such a proud basketball history. How important is it to the city for the Running Rebels to be good?
It's a part of our pride. We have pride in the university. All the teams that they have, the Running Rebels, their great history of great basketball teams and players, and the Tarkanian years, and now, you know, we did make the tournament for the 3rd straight year. So, you know, we have a lot of pride there, and we root our team home, and so it's important for all of us. It's a community involvement that everybody cheers for them, both in the football, basketball, as well as baseball program. They have a very good baseball program at UNLV too, and the golf team. So all across the board, people are big supporters.
Samardzija slowing down considerably, in trouble here in the 4th, and misses to run the count full to Beltray.
And I know from past experience, my daughter was a volleyball player, that you have a huge volleyball stop here in the club volleyball scheme of things, right here where the ballpark is.
We did. It actually was here, and it was at our other facility, the Convention Center on Paradise.
Oh, was it?
We had both locations, and it was a great tournament, great turnout, the fans, the teams, and very exciting. We're a good stop there. It's again, Las Vegas is a very good sports town for both for the fans as well as on the participation side. Someone
was telling us on the way in that they had the huge convention center here set up for bowling, where they had a number of different lanes going at the same time.
Hamilton running, and it's lofted out to left center field to Mather, out number 2.
Yeah, we converted this entire convention center into a bowling facility. And so the men's and women's bowling championships, that goes on for 6 months, over 60,000 participants, and it's a big boost for the downtown area, but because we can convert this into the bowling facility. So we get that about every 3 years.
And how about as a golf destination?
We have 64 golf courses in southern Nevada. There's a type of golf course for everyone, both for private courses as well as for the public. And so you have a great variety, some desert courses, some just regular types of golf courses. We've got Bears Best with Jack Nicklaus. So if you're a golfer, you can play for a long time and not play the same course.
Wow. What's the name of that ultra exclusive course? Silver Creek, is that it?
Silver Creek is one of the golf courses. We have quite a few golf courses that are their top world-known golf courses.
Tom would like a comp round if you could arrange that. Second baseman Cardenas for the out. Rangers take a lead, though. A run on 3 hits. Rossi Carter, great to meet you. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you, and we just want to say thank you to all the Ranger fans, and we invite them to come to Las Vegas only when the Rangers are out of town, because we want them to go to the games. But if they're on the road, come to Las Vegas and have a great time.
Thanks.
But thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rossi.
Thank you,
Rossi.
Now stay to a 1-0 lead as he takes the mound for the bottom of the 4th to face Blake DeWitt, Alfonso Soriano, and Joe Mather. I need to correct myself. The ultra-exclusive course, not Silver Creek, it's Shadow Creek.
Shadow Creek, okay.
So we'll set that as your goal. Holland.
Well, America's guests would love a shot at Shadow Creek, believe me.
Derek Holland has been simply superb. He's allowed only 1 base runner. That was a 2-out single in the second by Wellington Castillo. And all the outs have been recorded via the strikeout. He's got 2, or by the infield. The outfielders have basically had the first 3 innings off. We mentioned at the outset of our broadcast that our center field camera is not working. That's the shot you're used to seeing from over the shoulder of the pitcher. We are still trying to get it up and online, but that's why, no doubt, you've noticed that the telecast looks a little different than normal. Slash to center field, and finally some business out there for Borbone.
Oh, well hit ball by DeWitt. Went right back through the middle, hit a line shot, and Borbone had him played perfectly. And against most left-hand hitters, many left-hand hitters, the center fielder with Derek Holland would shade toward left center field a little bit, and that's where Borbone was.
1 gone. That brings up the left fielder Alfonso Soriano. He hit it hard his first time up, lined out to Beltre to end the 1st inning.
In 2006 with Washington, Soriano hit 46 home runs, knocked in 95, and stole 41 bases. And that's when he signed his 7 or 8 year contract for $120 million with the Cubs. He stole 41 bases in 2006. As a Cub, in 5 years, he's stolen 56 bases. He's averaged about 26 home runs. So he hasn't played poorly for the Cubs.
Beltre does let that go foul barely.
But he also hasn't approached that season with Washington in 2006. I think if the Cubs had to go back to the winter of 2006 when they signed him to that contract, knowing what the next 5 years would be, they probably would have passed.
Holland's 1-2 pitch bounces away from Torrealba. Pitching matchup here tomorrow, 3 o'clock on Fox Sports Southwest. Will be Matt Harrison. Spring record of 1-0, ERA of 1.80 against right-hander Chris Volstad. As this one will end up in the seats. Volstad yet to allow an earned run. And then Monday afternoon, make note of this, we have added another 3 o'clock Fox Sports Southwest telecast as Yu Darvish will get his first start in Surprise Stadium against the Brewers. Well hit right center field. Borbone on the track has room for out number 2.
Well, that's a home run in almost any park in the big leagues, I would venture a guess. It's 430 feet to center field here. There's a breeze blowing from the right field foul pole to the left field foul pole. So the wind probably affected that ball a little bit. It was hit way up in the air and probably ended up going about 400 feet. So he had a good swing at that one.
433 to straightaway center here at Cashman Field. A high wall all the way around. This dry mountainous desert air makes the ball carry in optimal conditions, but countered that time by the wind, which continues to blow in very strong. Joe Mather grounded to shortstop his first time up. Mather 11 years in the Cardinal system. Former third-round draft pick, 2001. And now 3 balls and no strikes. No walks today for Holland. In fact, no walks in Cactus League play for Derek. And he gets that strike in. Hope these teams would love a win. It is only the spring, but the Cubs have lost 4 straight. Rangers have won only 1 of their last 9. Lofted to Josh Hamilton in left center field. And Holland still has yet to allow a walk. He came back from 3-0 down to Mather. He's still allowed only the 1 base hit through 4.
And welcome back to Cashman Field in Las Vegas. Rangers taking on the Cubs after 4 innings. The Rangers have a 1-0 lead. Both starting pitchers appear to be finished after 4 innings. For Derek Holland, 4 innings, 1 hit, didn't give up a run or a walk, struck out a couple. For Jeff Smarja, who started for the Cubs, he went 4 innings. He gave up 3 hits back to back to back in the 4th inning. That led to Josh Hamilton's RBI single that drove in Elvis Andrus. So the Rangers lead 1-0. We go to the top of the 5th inning, and the Cubs with a new pitcher, James Russell. And if he looks a little bit like someone that you've remembered from the past, that's because he's the son of Jeff Russell. Russ was an all-star for the Rangers as a starter and as a closer. James is a left-hand pitcher. Those are his numbers on the spring as he tries to establish himself for the Cubs. He'll face Mitch Moreland, Yorvit Torrealba, and Joey Butler in the Rangers' top of the 5th.
Moreland first time up flat out to center. And works the count to 2-0. Base hit right field for Moreland. And after the Rangers were retired in order each of the first 3 innings, they began the 4th with 3 straight singles by Andrus, Borbone, and Hamilton. Hamilton with the RBI, and Moreland begins the 5th in the same fashion.
And Mitch has been spending a lot of time in the batting cage trying to get his timing down. Coming back from the wrist surgery, says his wrist feels much better, working hard, trying to find that elusive timing midway through spring training. And a good swing at that pitch from James Russell.
Yorvit Torrealba takes strike 1. Torrealba, one of 3 strikeout victims in Jeff Samardzij's 4 innings of work today. Run on the 3 hits, the 3 Ks, did not walk a batter. Off the fist, and it will go in and out of Cardenas's glove. They'll get the out at second on Moreland, who had to hold up just in case Cardenas made the catch. He very nearly did.
Yeah, it was just a little blooper. Torrealba got jammed, it looked like. Looked like a relatively simple play. Both the shortstop and the second baseman converge on it at the same time. And I think that's why Cardenas shied away from it just a little bit. Lake probably scared him. Didn't want that collision. And if you're Moreland at first base, there's nothing you can do about that. If you go far enough to where you can be safe at second base, if he catches it, you'll be easily doubled off at first base. So it goes as a simple 4-6 force out.
And brings up the DH, Joey Butler. He struck out in his at-bat against Samardzij. And this just his 4th at-bat of a Cactus League play. James Russell, born in Cincinnati. One of Jeff's stops along the way, but he lives in Colleyville. Fourteenth round draft pick, 2007. Graduated from Navarro Junior College and went on to attend UT. Butler to be followed by Matt Keita.
There's a shot you won't see during the regular season. The shot of this pitcher with an opposing pitcher throwing balls in the outfield. Only in spring training. Looks like Alexia Gondo's out there just kind of playing catch out on the warning track. Mike Adams is throwing in the bullpen. He'll probably be the next Ranger pitcher.
He's out there on the warning track.
Yeah, when guys get done, you'll see him running in the outfield. And as many years as I've been coming to spring training,
that is slashed over Cardenas, and another base hit.
People always say, why do they let them run in the outfield? Someone's going to get hit by a ball. There's going to be a collision. I've never seen one even come close. Somehow, even though it appears the guys running in the outfield during the game aren't paying any attention to the game, I don't think I've ever seen that collision that everybody worries about. I can remember when Bo Schembechler was the president of the Tigers at a general manager's meeting one time. I happened to be sitting near him, and that used to drive him crazy, that spring training games looked so casual with players running anytime they want in the outfield while the game was going on. Just couldn't understand. And the only explanation I could give was, hey, that's just the way it is in baseball. They've always done that. No reason for it, no reason against it. But for someone with a football background, it was really hard for him to get his arms around that deal.
And also, you talk about being in danger in batting practice. Guys are all over the outfield, sometimes running, sometimes just conversing with whoever's out there next to them.
Yeah, that I'm really surprised doesn't lead to more people getting hit by line drive, because you're right, that's during the regular season too. As the visiting team waits to take the field right at the end of the home team's batting practice, they will extend their places where they're playing catch into the outfield, and a lot of times they're not paying attention. Those balls whistle right by them.
Back at second base, and the drive into the corner, caught by Soriano, and there's out number 2. So Keita has flied out both trips. And it brings up Elvis Andrus. We've got the Rangers some long-awaited success against Jeff Samardzija in his second at bat, leading off the 4th. He singled. And eventually driven home on the RBI single by Josh Hamilton. 2 hits here in the 5th. Borland with the leadoff single, but erased on the drop pop by Cardenas out behind second base. So 2 on, 2 out for Elvis. Elvis having one of the best springs of anyone in Cactus League play. Rangers hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh saying yesterday that he's really encouraged and proud of the strides that Elvis is making with the bat.
Well, at the end of the season last year, in the month of September, he started to drive the ball and had more extra base hits than normal. And in the winter, he continued with a solid weight program. You notice a difference when you see him, especially out of uniform. His upper body is a little bit more solid, a little bit more bulk to it. Still very slim, but he does look stronger. And it's not unusual for a kid to get to the big leagues when he's 20 or 21 years old and not show power. And I'm not saying Elvis will be a power hitter, but as time goes on, he'll drive the ball into the gaps for more doubles. His home run total will increase a little bit. Started to see that at the end of the season last year, and that should be something that carries over into this season. You don't look for him to be a home run hitter, but you know, a guy that could hit 40 doubles and 5 or 6 triples and 6, 7 to 10 home runs. Pretty good production for the top of the order guy.
2 balls and 2 strikes. And we've heard this discussed mostly about Elvis in the field, a matter of focus sometimes waning. And Scott says on occasion that's been the case with Elvis offensively as well. Not unusual for a young player, though.
No, it's very difficult when you're playing every day and you're tired. You've got the pressure of being a frontline player at a key position on a pennant contending team.
Chops the breaking ball. Tough play. Barehanded, and DeWitt will have to eat it, and the bases are loaded.
But that's a part of the game. Maybe not a physical part of the game, but a mental part of the game that as players mature and get older, they get better and better at. A guy that becomes a guy that can bear down on every pitch. Not much the third baseman could do with that play. He did the right thing by hanging on to it.
Elvis not even having to crank to full throttle to get that base hit, his second straight. And Julio Borbone, who singled his last time up, with a chance to add to the 1-0 lead, loaded up with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. James Russell starts him with the strike. Craig Gentry, by the way, expected back maybe just a couple more days. Recovering from the slight sprain of his left wrist. But in the meantime, opportunity for Borbone and Leonis Martin to roam center field. Borbone yesterday against the Dodgers. Replaced just about this point of the game by Martin. Must have been a very frustrating week for Craig Gentry. He simply did not need to miss any reps whatsoever trying to get a job. Or at least part of the center field duties. And fouled off the foot of Borbone. Still down, no balls and 2 strikes. Chicago last year, one of the biggest disappointments in baseball. It's 71-91, 5th in the National League Central race. Race which only had 2 teams finishing above 500, the Brewers and the Cardinals. Check swing, and the appeal down to Scott Berry at third. He says Julio held up. It's 1-2.
Good call. Great shot of it. He definitely did. Pulled up.
That one pretty close as well, but it's ball 2 and the count is even.
Well, the umpires in the stands didn't like that call very much. One of those pitches that could have gone either way. Earlier in the count, there was one that could have gone either way that went the Cubs' way. Fastball in, that fastball away. Pretty close pitch, tough pitch to take with 2 strikes. Just about a sellout. Great crowd here.
Mostly Cub fans, it looks like. There you see some Ranger jackets, whatnot scattered throughout the crowd. Very cool, overcast afternoon. It was 53 degrees for the first pitch. Rain had been to the forecasts, as it is tomorrow. But so far, it's been a very pleasant, it's cool afternoon. Roped into right field, base hit. And that will bring in 2 more. Torey Alba scores. Butler scores. It's 3-0.
Well, that's what Julio has to do. Continue to impress Ron Washington with the bat. And that was a good at bat for him. He worked the count, behind in the count, hung in there, got a breaking ball that stayed up. Put the bat on it, served it out to right field, picked up a couple of big runs for the Rangers. Did a nice job in his last at bat with a hit and run play, driving the ball into left field. Got a little overly aggressive on the bases though, and was thrown out at second base. Trying to advance on the throw into third base, but a couple of really good at bats for Julio. Line drive to left, now a line drive to right.
And he gets his first 2 RBIs of the spring. Josh Hamilton last time up got his first Cactus League run batted in. Singling home Elvis Andrus to make it 1-0, and now off of Russell here in the 5th. The Rangers with 4 base hits and good 2 runs that just came home. Andrews at 3rd. With Julio at 1st with 2 outs. And the Rangers, who did not have a base runner until last inning, have now out-hit the Cubs 7-1. Still the only Cub hit of the day, a 2nd inning 2-out single by Wellington Castillo. How would you say situations like this, a chance to work on your situational hitting, one of the biggest benefits you could get in a game like this?
Yeah, for Julio, that's the kind of thing that he needs to do all season long, all spring long, is work on his situational hitting, show that he can hit and run, get the bat on the ball, show that he can get a bunt down, show that he can make contact with men on base when you're behind in the count. So all those little things are very important for a young player like Julio. And in Josh's last at bat, he's up there with a man on 3rd base and 1 out. He'd struck out the first time on a changeup, was way out in front of it, got behind in the count on the same pitch, but then with 2 strikes, he was just trying to make some contact. So that's another case of situational hitting for a veteran player.
Well, Russell gets a strikeout at Hamilton, and the Rangers settle for the 2-run, 4-hit attack in the top half of the 5th inning. Open up a 3-run lead. You won't want to miss the first Saturday game of the season on April 7th against the Chicago White Sox. The first 30,000 fans will receive a 2012 calendar commemorating the 2011 season. Compliments of Michaels, and all fans will enjoy the American League Championship ring ceremony before the game. Call 972-RANGERS for tickets. That will be game 2 of the regular season. The Rangers hosting Robin Ventura, Chicago White Sox. Derek Holland was near perfect in his 4-inning start today, allowing only 1 base hit and hardly anything out of the outfield. And Derek joins us now. Derek, how pleased were you with what you were able to do today?
It was real good. I think me and Torrealba had a good job back there communicating with each other, being on the same page. I think that was the big thing, is just going right after the hitters. Even if I did fall behind, 1-0, I came right back and made it even count.
Derek, it looked like to start off, as a pitcher like yourself likes to do, establish your fastball and then start to work in your breaking pitches as the game goes on. Was that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah, that was the big thing. I mean, when we were down the bullpen, I noticed I had a lot more movement than I usually do with my fastball, so we were going to take advantage of that, try to establish that right away and go after the hitters, and then, mix in all the off speed, because now we're starting to get farther into the game, so I got to be able to try to pitch like I would in the season. At the beginning, I was trying to mix in all my pitches right away. Now I'm trying to get back to my normal routine.
I don't even know if you're aware of this. You have not walked a single batter in the spring.
You would say that.
No, I think you're jinx proof on that at this point.
Let's hope so. I mean, there's no wood around me except for over that way. I can't really reach it right now.
Derek, after a fine season last year, as you went through the wintertime, what were the things that you came to spring training wanted to even improve upon as well as you did last year?
Well, the main thing is I have to be very consistent. That was, obvious. The big thing that helped out in the second half of the season was I was more consistent, and also just being able to use my off speed a lot more. I know at the beginning last year I was very predictable. They would just sit on one pitch because I couldn't throw my off speed for strike, and then the second half I started to pick that up. So now I want to continue from where I left off of last year and mixing all my off speed pitches.
What did your 2-hitter in the World Series do for your confidence?
I mean, it boosted it. There's no doubt about that. But how I see it now, that's over. I can't sit and dwell on that anymore. I got to get ready for this season. But it definitely is a big booster for next season, or for this season. Sorry.
Well, just from the standpoint of showing the world what you are capable of doing. Not that you're going to dwell on it, but
no, I mean, it's good. There's no doubt about it to always. Think about those kind of things and remember what you did, because you use that for, down the road. That's the main thing, is you use that to help yourself get better.
Derek, I know your parents are here. You're done pitching. You got the night off. What are your plans for Las Vegas tonight?
Well, it's my parents have never been here. My fiance's here as well, so we're all going to go out and gamble. I want to try to get my dad some luck. That's the big thing. He did it last night. It was pretty funny. He put down $25, lost it. And he's like, I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. And then I was like, Dad, just keep going. You gotta give in. It's just one time. You can't just give up just because you lost. And he ended up walking out $200. So the lucky charm right there for him.
All right.
The Derek Holland,
so good though.
The Derek Holland karma.
Well, have a good night, Derek.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, that is Derek Holland, part of our Papa John's Sounds of the Game. Our Ozarka pitching change brings in Mike Adams. Mike making his third outing of the spring. Lately working on better fastball command. And also working on adding some off-speed weapons to go with the fastball, the cut fastball. Off speed there, and it remains a ball and 2 strikes to Brian LaHare. Like a little bit of a slow start to the spring, recovering from hernia surgery in the offseason. Down in Corpus Christi. Brian LaHare grounded to first, his first time up. And the Cubs first baseman waves and misses. You'd have to probably look pretty well back in recent baseball history. Find a team like the Rangers who will convert their star closer and still have arms in the 8th and the 9th, like Adams, Alexi Ogando, and now Joe Nathan.
Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing that one year you take your 8th inning setup guy, Ogando, make him a starting pitcher, and he makes the All-Star team. And the next year, you take that same starting pitcher and possibly put him back in the bullpen. That's the way it looks right now. And take your closer and make him a starter. So, yeah, it's shuffling around the roles late in the game like the Rangers have done the last year with 2 young guys like Ogando and Felice. That is out of the ordinary. But then to still have guys like Mark Lowe, Mike Adams, Joe Nathan now, pitching late in the ballgame, allows you that luxury. And I think what you like to do with a young pitcher, a guy especially like Felice, it's more valuable if you can be a frontline starting pitcher than it is to be a frontline bullpen pitcher. There's just no doubt about that. And so I think you owe it to the pitcher, you owe it to the franchise to find out if he can be that guy. He's got the stuff. Whether or not he can develop, time will tell. He's not going to be a finished product even at the end of spring training. It's going to take some time for him to develop during the season. But if he can become a top of the rotation guy, then he's a much bigger asset for your franchise than he would be as a closer.
Adams here in the 5th strikes out LaHare and Castillo.
And the other thing that's nice to have is you've got Scott Feldman, possibly Ogando, pitching in relief. Both of them perfectly capable of stepping in and starting if you have an injury or double headers pile up. You need a spot start. You've got guys that can step in and do that. Scott threw the ball really well the last part of the season and into the postseason. Showed that he was much more like the 17-game winner than the last couple of years after he won 17 games. And Ogando's a team player. He's happy to pitch in relief. He's happy to pitch as a starter. Fortunately for the Rangers, he does both of those roles at a high level.
Mike Adams certainly at a high level. 2 swinging strikeouts, and he's a pitch away from striking out the side now.
And one nice thing about Ogando is he proved that he could be a starting pitcher, throw 115, 120 pitches in a game. Is you're very comfortable this year using him for more than 1 inning. He's not just a specialist who comes in for 2/3 or 1 inning. If he gets through the first inning pretty well, you've got a frontline guy who'll go back out there and give you a couple of innings. Nice luxury to have. There's Derek out in the outfield running. We saw Ogando playing catch in the outfield, and here's sometimes you see the starting pitcher needs to get a little work in, so he'll go out and run. regulars come out of the game in the 4th, 5th, 6th inning, they'll do a little extra running in the outfield.
Call strike 3, and Adams strikes out the side.
Pretty sharp with his command right there.
Through 5 complete in Vegas at Cashman Field, it's still 3-0 Rangers.
Nobody does what Papa John's does.
Sparkling pitching so far by Derek Holland and Mike Adams, and some timely mid-inning hitting. Story of the game for the Rangers, leading the Cubs 3-0. And we are joined by the man who keeps the Rangers healthy as humanly possible and out on the field as much as possible. That would be the Rangers club physician, Dr. Keith Meister. Welcome.
Thank you.
What types of things worry you and the training staff most of all in the spring, where everyone acknowledges the main goal is get to the regular season healthy?
I would say that any injury that's going to cost us obviously any significant amount of time, and we don't worry about the little things, and I think we tend to be much more conservative in dealing with injuries and allowing guys back on the field in the spring, just so we protect the smaller things so they don't become bigger things. And I think that's probably the most prudent approach. And I think spring tends to be very long, and I don't think that most of the guys feel like they need the entire time in the spring, especially the veterans, to get themselves prepared for the regular season. So they know how many at-bats they need for position players, and the pitchers know how many innings they need, how many times they need to throw. So I think that we've got some flexibility to work around those things, especially when we're dealing with injuries. It's not like every game counts and every day counts.
Frank Castillo, by the way, on the mound, third Cub pitcher of the day, working to Adrian Beltre here in the 6th inning.
Keith, as the Rangers team physician, what exactly does your job encompass? Does it extend down to the minor leagues as well as the big leagues?
Very much so, and I think that's an important part of how I think we've changed a lot of the program here with the club. Jamie Reed got here in 2003. I got here in 2004, and I think one of the first things we did was implement a very stable, uniform, consistent system of maintaining health throughout the organization, and so much of that is preventative. The things that we do on the strength and conditioning side, the things that our minor league trainers do, are really identical to what our young players are going to be able to expect as they move through the organization. So the system is the same at low A as it is at high A, as it is at double A, as it is at triple A, and I think that because we've been consistent with a program that's been very, very good, we've shown a significant decrease in our overall injuries from year to year. I mean, the best way for us to track those things is by what really goes on with our pitchers with respect to their shoulders and elbows, and the numbers have decreased immensely over the course of the last 8 to 9 years. And as you know, I mean, pitchers take a while to develop. And if they can't be on the field and can't be healthy and they have major hiccups during that time period, they're not going to get to the highest level. And I think that it's been a part of, certainly, our ability now to maybe develop some of our own homegrown throwers.
You know, as a young guy, you won't remember this, but you talk about how far baseball has come in a lot of areas. In the 60s, when I started playing, until you got to AAA, you never had a licensed trainer with your team. And in Class A ball, the only thing that resembled something that a trainer or a doctor might have was we had a first aid kit that had like a couple of Band-Aids in it and maybe a little tape. But we didn't even have a trainer, let alone a team physician. So baseball's come a long way.
We could have, I guess you could have had Hoggy down there with a couple rolls of tape.
Anybody.
Cruz strikes out number 2 as we look at our MCA injury report. Craig Gentry, is there going to be anything that will linger and be bothersome at wrist?
I don't think so. Craig hurt himself early in the week. I have not seen him yet, but you know, obviously the reports from the trainers are that this is a day-to-day kind of thing, and he ought to progress just fine.
And what about Mike Napoli?
Mike's coming along. He's got a little soreness in his groin, and again, it's one of those things in the spring you take a little extra time with. If you asked Mike if he could play today, and he would tell you yes, and if it were a regular season game, Mike would be playing, but again, it's one of those things. You just you take the time that you need because you really want everybody as healthy as they're going to be at the starting gate. And we always say we don't necessarily care how you start and finish spring training. It's how you start the regular season. So I think Mike's going to be just fine.
Is the groin a bigger worry than the ankle at this point?
I don't think either are concerned at this point. Mike's really come around. He's bounced back. He worked extremely hard in the offseason. He's gotten himself into tremendous shape. And again, these are just little nagging things that we're used to dealing with in spring training. And he should be ready opening day for sure.
Mitch Moreland able to work a 2-out walk here off Castillo.
Keith, we have a lot of teenage baseball players watching today. When you talk about conditioning, what are the kind of things, if let's say you're between the ages of 13 and 17, what are the kind of conditioning things they should be concerned about?
Well, as I tell all these young throwers that come into the office, obviously the biggest problem is that they're in my office, no matter how good they are. And what we try and do is educate them and get them developing the same kinds of habits that we teach our young minor leaguers, because the sooner they start it, the sooner they develop a consistency in their approach to what they're doing. And I think that most of the great players have the best routines. So really we would like to teach them routine, and routine involves conditioning yourself from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, because throwing involves that whole progression of or chain of events to get the ball out of the hand to the plate. So we work a lot on educating them on core conditioning and conditioning their lower half, as well as put them on a good program for their shoulder and elbow, and the same program really that we teach our young pro guys that carries them through their careers.
When can weight training become part of a young player's routine? Is there an age, or does it depend what kind of weights they're lifting?
Yeah, I think they're probably. I think there's the answer to that is yes to both of those things. I think that you really have to look at the individual. Not all 12-year-olds look like 12-year-olds. Some look like 10-year-olds. Some look like 14, 15-year-olds. So I think a lot of it depends upon the physical maturity of the individual, the athlete. We worry about the growth plates in these young kids, stressing them at too great an extent at too young a level. So I think that you really have to take each one of these younger kids, especially as they're developing through those formative years, and be smart and be very individualized in how you treat them. And that's something I really stress with the parents. Unfortunately, you've got a lot of these 14, 15-year-olds that are stretching to try and play varsity baseball and trying to perhaps play up a level. and they're just not physically ready. And I think you need to temper your expectations depending upon the individual. And I tell all these young kids, you're going to grow, and you're going to get bigger, you're going to get stronger. It just may be a little bit later than some of your friends, and when you do, you'll probably end up passing them. And I like to tell them the story of particularly Oral Hershiser, who was basically an undrafted, unrecruited guy, and he'll tell you grew 5 inches in college and obviously became a near Hall of Fame pitcher. So I think those types of things and little stories are helpful for them to appreciate. But it's so true. We look at Derek Holland. I don't think physically matured until last year. I mean, Derek probably put on 10 to 15 pounds during the season. And really started to look like a man for the first time. And so everybody's got a different time clock. And I think you need to appreciate that in our young athletes as you're asking them to do certain things physically. We just don't want them to overstress.
Dr. Keith Meister, thanks for visiting with us and enlightening us in a medical way.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith.
Thanks, Tom.
Rangers head team physician. Wind has really picked up just in the last couple of minutes, just since the strikeout of Torey Alba, as Frank Castillo follows Mike Adams striking out the side by doing the same. And Alexio Gondo now will take over in the bottom half of the 6th. With some other changes. It is a brand new battery, in fact, with Luis Martinez now behind the plate. New third baseman for the Rangers is Gilder Rodriguez. Gondo ready to work for the second time this spring. And Adrian Cardenas sends that pitch very deep and just foul out there on the berm beyond the left field foul pole. Adrian Cardenas grounded to second his first time up. Through 5, Ranger pitchers have allowed still only one base runner. Wellington Castillo's single in the second.
If you're a Cub hitter in this game, it has not been a hitter's dream, that's for sure. You start off with Derek Holland throwing 94 miles an hour. Then in comes Mike Adams throwing about the same thing with that cutter. Struck out all 3. And now in the 6th inning, you get Alexio Gondo throwing harder than both of them.
Mike Maddox, a pretty happy man with what he has seen from pitchers who figure to be the ones that break camp with the Rangers. Has to be extremely happy with what he's gotten so far out of Holland, his 4 innings, and Adams in the 5th. That is slashed for a base hit to center field. And Cardenas aboard, leading off the bottom of the 6th.
Well, Cardenas looks like he swings the bat pretty well. He was signed by the Phillies originally. Went to the A's in the Joe Blanton trade, and then the Cubs got him on a waiver claim, but he hit .315 in AAA last year for the A's. And he put a pretty nice swing on that fastball.
Bobby Scales now batting in the number 9 spot. It's an interleague matchup. Jeff Samardzija batted in the 9 hole and hit pretty hard, lined out to first. Rangers going with the DH.
Yeah, you could tell Samardzija was a pretty good athlete because he looked more like a hitter than a pitcher when he went up there and swung the bat.
Nothing in 2 to Bobby Scales. Reed Johnson, the top of the order, on deck. As the Cubs have not only been outscored, but out-hit 7-2. Mike Bianucci, the new first baseman, replacing Mitch Moreland. As Scales goes down swinging, the 6th strikeout by Ranger pitchers. And the 4th consecutive out recorded via the strikeout.
Scales was fooled by Alexei's slider right there.
Alexei Ogando coming into camp, figured to return to the 8th inning role, late inning relief, teaming with Mike Adams to get the games into Joe Nathan's hands. But just in case, Ogando still has been stretched out just in case. Same thing happened that occurred last year, a late spring injury last year. The last day before they broke camp, it was Tommy Hunter who suddenly was injured and not available. So should that happen again, Washington, Mike Maddox want to make sure that Alexei Ogando will be physically prepared should he be needed in the rotation again. One ball, one strike to Reed Johnson, who has struck out both times swinging. One strike away from a hat trick. This Ranger pitching depth we talk about, boy, the Cubs would love to have a piece of that. 25th in the majors in ERA last year, 26th in save percentage, last in fielding. Oh, that's spelling a 71-91 season.
Yeah, that spells a new general manager too. Theo Epstein has come over to the Cubs from the Red Sox, and turning around a team that struggled like the Cubs did is not something that happens overnight. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of developing, a lot of signing good young players, scouting worldwide. Pretty much exactly what the Rangers accomplished over the last 5 or 6 years. But it doesn't happen overnight.
Of course, that's the challenge of working for the Cubs. Cubs fans figure they've been patient. Over a century of patience.
Well, what's another 2 or 3 years then? I think the biggest mistake you make is try to do it too quickly and not do it the right way. You run the risk of trying to sign a couple of high-priced free agents to get better, and you let the development of your minor league system and your scouting slip to the back burner, and that's when you get in trouble.
Theo Epstein taking over and joined by Jed Hoyer, formerly with the Padres. A new brain trust. Bianucci backing up to handle the pop-up. Johnson to second out here in the bottom of the 6th. And it'll bring up Blake DeWitt. Haven't seen the top-rated prospects in this game so far for the Cubs coming into the year. Outfielder Brett Jackson, Matt Caesar, Javier Baez, a shortstop, Anthony Rizzo, a first baseman. Very young talent, Starlin Castro. It has not been the front-line group that Dale Swain figures to go to battle with today anyway. A split squad situation. Three runs on 7 hits, no errors for the Rangers, no runs on 2 hits, no errors for the Cubs. Rangers getting a lead with a single run in the 4th and 2 more in the 5th. Grounded sharply through. A base hit by DeWitt. And for Alexi Ogando, who inherited a combined one hitter by Holland and Adams, 2 of the 4 Cubs he's faced here in the 6th, has singled, and that brings up Alfonso Soriano. Very well placed ground ball. Soriano is lined to third and fly to center. A weak wave at strike 1 from Ogando. Partisan Cubs crowd here in Las Vegas. And something positive offensively here, although Soriano quickly falls down 0-2.
Yeah, Soriano just took swings the first 2 times, totally anticipating a fastball and being totally fooled by the slider. When we throw him a fastball well out of the strike zone, see if he can get him to chase another one.
Adrian Cardenas has Ogando's attention leading off second base. The 2-pitch grounded foul. Alexi Ogando pressed into the rotation last year, became an all-star immediately. Preparing for either role, bullpen or starter this year. Bullpen is, barring any more injuries, how the season appears to be at the outset for Alexi. It's just his second outing of the spring. And the 0-2 pitch line softly to center field for a base hit. And the Cubs are on the board. It's 3-1.
Well, Ogando got ahead with 2 sliders, no balls, and 2 strikes. Then he threw a 3rd slider that Soriano fouled off. Probably too good of a pitch. It caught the strike zone. Then he threw him a good fastball for a strike that he fouled off. So now it's still no balls and 2 strikes. And even though Soriano doesn't hit this ball very hard, he just serves it off the end of the bat softly into center field. I think a perfect pitch from Ogando there would have been something 6 inches low and 6 inches outside that Soriano probably would have swung at, and if he did, he wouldn't have been able to get the bat on it.
He gets his 7th spring run batted in, and here's Joe Mather, who was grounded out and flied out.
Wasn't a bad pitch. It wasn't a ball that was hit very hard, but with no balls and 2 strikes, might have been a little bit too close to the strike zone. It allowed Soriano to get enough on it to get the base hit. But the way he was swinging the bat right there, when a guy like Ogando gets him no balls and 2 strikes, you ought to be able to put him away.
And now Alexi behind Mather 2-0. Cranked that first pitch up to 96 against Mather. Little frustration taken out there. DeWitt at second with Soriano at first. Potential tying runs with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. A breaking ball there. 2-1. Popped up left side of the infield. And put away to end any further scoring opportunities for the Cubs. Dave Barnett and Tom Green, we reached the 7th inning at Cashman Field. The Rangers lead cut to 3-1 in the 6th. And we are joined by Gene Brumbelow here in the booth, chairman of Texas Dairy Queen Operators Council Board of Directors. And Gene, thanks for joining us here on our broadcast today. Dairy Queen, very active sponsoring Ranger baseball this year.
Yes, we're really glad to be that, too. Thank you.
Scott Maine is the new pitcher for the Cubs. And deals a strike to Joey Butler. Is Texas the biggest market for Dairy Queen? It's so intertwined with the small town image that Dairy Queen has cultivated so well over the years.
Yes, it is. We have 600 Dairy Queens in Texas, and there's approximately 5,800 in the U.S. So we're more than 10% of the entire nation. Always bigger, you know that.
What about, not just in Texas, but what about Dairy Queen's history with Nolan Ryan?
Well, that's a really interesting. Dairy Queen was born the same year Nolan was born, 1947. So. He was a spokesman for us for 3 years in the late 90s, 97, 99, which was his 50th birthday and our 50th anniversary, of course, also. So he was our spokesman those 3 years, and it happened to be the year that he went into Hall of Fame too. So that was neat for us. Sure. And we know Nolan loves Dairy Queen a lot, because we were around him enough to know that. So I think you know that too.
Absolutely.
Butler chops that one foul, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Gene Brumbelow, talk about what Texas Dairy Queen has done contributing to the Shannon Stone Foundation.
Well, it was such a tragedy, and we just enjoy being associated with projects. I mean, things that happen that the Rangers are interested in, and when they're a worthy project, and we know that it is a worthy project, and it was. And so we contributed, I believe it's $35,000, to the Shannon Stone Foundation for his family.
As many Dairy Queens as there are there plans for even more Dairy Queens in the Metroplex, for instance?
Well, yes, and that's something really exciting that's going on right now, because we've seen major growth in some spots around the metropolitan areas. We've always been, as Dave said, very popular in the rural areas, but there's been in the last few years a movement, to build some nice stores in areas. Frisco, for example, right out there by your stadium there, the AA stadium is doing great guns, and several around the area and down in Houston. So this is just bodes well for Dairy Queen in Texas, and so because really Dairy Queen demand has been stifled a little bit, and so there's a lot of pent-up demand for Dairy Queen in the Metroplex, and so this is very exciting for all of us.
Pay no attention to Evan Grant, who is lobbying for a free blizzard in the back of
You got it. Oh, good call. Put your flavor down.
Joey Butler works a leadoff walk.
Loaded.
He's going to take us to task. He's going to give you the flavor in a minute.
Well, Gene, we appreciate your stopping by and your participation with Dairy Queen, helping sponsor another great season of Ranger baseball this year.
Well, it's been a pleasure. We've been in the last couple of years, and we plan several more. And Heath Bar rules over there. Good call. One of the more popular.
How about you? What's your favorite kind?
Well, I'm an Oreo, but really I have a secret. Since I own the Dairy Queen, I have 4 Dairy Queens, and I actually like pecans and cherry. And it's pretty simple but delicious.
Now that we're on the menu, what happened to the Breeze? You got the Blizzard, but the Breeze went away.
Right. Believe it or not, it was sales were 10-to-1 on the Blizzard, the Breeze. So it just it faded away. It
just means you're out of luck, Dave. Sorry. You have to go to the Blizzard.
I've had to live with that.
Yeah.
Well, any trip to Dairy Queen is a treat, so to speak.
Well, and the food side of it is what's so fantastic also, really. Texas Dairy Queen has its own food system, and that our Blizzard, our burgers, we have a great lineup of burgers and baskets, and our tacos are one of the favorites, all around Texas, so we get rave reviews there. So it's all good there, I tell you.
Gene, we appreciate your time. Gene Brumbelow, chairman of Texas Dairy Queen Operators Council Board of Directors.
Thank you, Gene.
It's our pleasure to be involved with you guys, I tell you.
Matt Cada, the batter, 2 balls and no strikes. Butler leading off first after his leadoff walk issued by Scott Bain here in the top of the 7th. Jeff Samardzija started, went 4 innings, set down the Rangers in order each of the first 3, and then in the 4th, the Rangers got to him for a run on 3 hits. Andrews driven home by Hamilton. Off of James Russell in the 5th, 2 more runs. And a 2-run base hit by Julio Borbone. Frank Castillo struck out the side in the 6th. And now Maine struggling. Looking for his first out of the 7th inning. Double play depth in the infield. With Gilder Rodriguez in the on-deck circle.
Hey, he's shameless. He says he'll drive 50 miles for a free Blizzard.
Oh, because it's so economically worthwhile to spend that money for gas.
Yeah, both the guys are from like Tyler and Jacksonville. So Evan, there's not, at least right now, there's not a free burger for Evan right in the Metroplex. So he might have to go on a road trip, which he's perfectly willing to do.
Well, I hope he can find some decent food at a reasonable price in Las Vegas tonight. And with a 3-2 pitch, chopped to the shortstop late, and a 6-3 double play. Big pitch there by Maine. And now Gilder Rodriguez. First double play of the game. Triggered by either team. Elvis Andrus had a terrific day while he was in. Singled and scored the first run of the game in the fourth and reached on an infield hit in the fifth. 2 for 3 for a guy that came in hitting .435. Same 2 tomorrow here at Cashman Field in Vegas. 3 o'clock on Fox Sports Southwest.
Right, if you just look at Scott Main after he gets his sign and goes into a stretch from this distance, not up close, but from this distance, he looks exactly like Matt Harrison. But they're about the same size. And he doesn't have the same delivery. He throws more from a 3/4 to sidearm delivery. Matt's more over the top. But from a distance, when he sets to get ready to pitch from the stretch, looks a lot like him. Right here.
Well, you're right. He really does. Line drive into center field. It will fall for a base hit.
Good swing right there. That's a line shot.
So the third hit out of the leadoff position today. 3 of the Rangers' total of 8 hits. And Leonis Martin will bat in the number 2 spot, taking over center field for Julio Borbone. Borbone with the big swing of the day, a 2-run single in the 5th. He also singled in the 4th. Those are the first 2 RBIs of Cactus League play for Borbone. Way outside, 2 balls and no strikes to Martin. Rangers high on his physical abilities, signing him out of Cuba. But they knew that he would need some refinement. Briefly toward the end of last year. Came to camp, at least on paper, part of the center field equation. Probably will start the season in the minors. Dug out nicely. First base by the hair. The throw by DeWitt. And Scott Main works out of the jam thanks to a double play ball. Stretch time here in Las Vegas, where the Rangers lead the Cubs 3-1.
They brought the
Alexio Gondo out for his second inning of work. The third Ranger pitcher of the day. Pitching has been extremely strong. Tone set by the starter Derek Holland as LaHare fouls off the first pitch. Derek in 4 innings, near perfect. Only a 2-out single in the second by Wellington Castillo. Did not walk a batter. Still hasn't walked anyone in the spring. And struck out 2. Mike Adams struck out the side in his inning, the 5th. Cubs got to Alexio Gondo for a run on 3 hits in the 6th. And in the 7th, LaHare, Castillo, and Lake scheduled hitters for Chicago. Second base. Captain Morgan Club is a climate-controlled restaurant sports bar located in the first floor space of the office building complex in left center field at the ballpark. The 2-level facility will offer table and bar seating for approximately 230 guests and contains over 9,000 square feet. Captain Morgan Club will be open to all ticketed fans before, during, and after Rangers home games. Tom, some very hard work put in by the Rangers to improve the facility at the ballpark over the offseason. And good news there. Those services now offered, but in air-conditioned comfort.
Yeah, and I know the Rangers are really excited about that. And from what we've read about it, I know the fans are going to be really excited about it too. Whether it's the Batter's Eye Club, Captain Morgan's Club, the Kids Zone, the Rangers have spent a lot of money and a lot of effort to make that as fan-friendly as they possibly can. The Captain Morgan Club, it'll have a full-scale bar, full a la carte menu for hamburgers, salad, sandwiches, barbecue. Also, the studios are going to be out there for Fox Sports Southwest, 103.3 FM ESPN. We'll have some pregame and postgame out there. Kid Zone is going to be terrific too. It was nice before, but it's very difficult before when it was 100 degrees. Now it's going to be in the air conditioning. There'll be interactive areas, video games, kids concessions, kid-sized Ranger merchandise. Big kids can have fun climbing, sliding, and jumping. Little kids can enjoy stacking boxes, turning a windmill. Rangers captain will be out there. All sorts of things all game long for the kids out in the Kids Zone. That's going to be terrific. I'm looking forward to seeing when we get back myself.
I am too. Junior Lake grounds out to Garcia, and Ogando retires the side in order in the bottom of the 7th.
You come to the back
All kinds of fun to be had out on the berms in either corner of Cashman Field. The Kids Zone going into Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Part of the improvements that began immediately after the World Series ended out at the ballpark, and we'll get a chance to see them when the White Sox are in for opening day, April 6th. Real transformation out there. Trevor Miller, left-hander, the new pitcher for Chicago here in the 8th. Ryan Strasburger, who took over in left field for the starter out there, Josh Hamilton. First, the count to 2 balls and no strikes.
Rangers have changed almost all their players. The Cubs have only made a couple of changes. We got a new left fielder, Jim Adducci.
Foul ball just out of the reach of the 3 Cubs trying to chase it down out there.
And a new catcher, Steve Clevenger. Other than that, I think they've got the same guys out there. Mathers in center. Reed Johnson's in right. LaHare's still at first. Blake still at shortstop. I believe that's Cardenas at second base.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Broken bat that time on the foul ball. Hope you can be with us tomorrow afternoon. Same start time, 3 o'clock here on Fox Sports Southwest. As the Rangers and the Cubs again will square off here in Las Vegas, and the wind continues. There's a gale out there. Pretty strong breeze when we began, but a couple innings ago it really picked up. And you see it, the right to left action.
Yeah, they said 3 o'clock was going to be the time where it might rain, but turning in there pretty good right now.
Well hit it off the wall. Strasburger into second base with a long lead-off double.
That ball smacked off the wall, almost came back and hit the left fielder. It looks like if you hit it well down the left field line, you'll get a little help from the wind. That might be the one spot where that'll help. And it looked like Ryan hit that ball really hard. I'm not sure how much help it got, but he got out there in a hurry and smacked off the wall, almost came back and hit Adducci. Watch out.
Well, you saw how hard hit it was. Huge carom. So Gilder Rodriguez lays down a bunt, and DeWitt allows it to go foul. The team that has not posted that many wins so far here in the Cactus League. 3-9-1. Great chance here to insurance run. They've out hit Chicago 9-4. The RBIs by Hamilton in the 4th, and Borbone with a 2-run single in the 5th. The rest of the story has been outstanding pitching by Holland, Adams, and Ogando. Better bunt this time. Miller only the play at first, so well executed by Gilder Rodriguez to advance Strasburger to third with 1 out. And this brings up Jared Prince, who took over right field for Nelson Cruz. First at bat of the spring for Jared. That is just foul. Wrapped hard. It scatters the Ranger relievers out there, the bullpen.
A good aggressive swing right there by Jared Prince, going up there with a chance to get a base hit and knock in a run. Got the infield in. Just pulled it foul a little bit. I mentioned this during the webcast yesterday. I'll say it one more time. How much we appreciate Ron Washington, who will change almost every player in the lineup. But when he does so, the left fielder hits where the left fielder is hitting. Doesn't change the order at all. It looked like it hit Prince. Couldn't tell originally. Thought it was a wild pitch, but it hit him. So he makes our job of changing the lineups on our scorecard as easy as it possibly can be in spring training.
And it is much appreciated. So 1 out, runners on the corners. And Mike Bianucci will get his first at bat of the day. Ranger first baseman replacing the starter Mitch Moreland. Number 96. Big cut and a miss. Strasburger leading off of third. Prince at first. Double play depth to the infield. Popped up, chased by LaHare, and just out of his reach. Patrick Clevenger also over. No play, but it is no balls and 2 strikes. This 2-game series here in Vegas, the first time since '94 for the Rangers to leave spring training, not to break camp. They will return on Monday to host the Brewers with Yu Darvish on the mound on Fox Sports Southwest. A base hit by Bianucci, scoring Strasburger to make it 4-1 Rangers.
Good job by Bianucci right there. Shortened his stroke a little bit. Behind in the count. Just trying to make some contact. Does a nice job. Got the bat solidly on the ball. Drove it by DeWitt at third base. Makes the trip to Las Vegas for Mike worthwhile.
First and second now. Still only 1 out, a run in, and the catcher Luis Martinez. Jeff Samardzija, the Cubs starter today. 4 innings, a run on 3 hits. Struck out 3, didn't walk anyone. James Russell in the 5th, 2 runs on 4 hits. Frank Castillo in the 6th struck out the side. Scott Maine in the 7th worked around a hit and a walk, and now it's Miller laboring in the 8th. An inning that began with the leadoff double high off the wall in left field by Strasburger. Rodriguez sacrificed in the 3rd with Prince hit by a pitch. Bianucci stepped up and singled home Ryan Strasburger. Well hit into the gap, and a diving grab out in right center field. There's the defensive play of the afternoon, turned in by Joe Mather. Boy, Tom, off the bat, I didn't think he had a chance here.
Now, Mather's a big guy, too. He looks like he's about 6'3" or 6'4", but he gets a nice jump on the ball. He lays out and makes a beautiful play. If that ball gets by him, obviously a couple of runs are going to score. But if you're down 4-1 late in the ball game, that's a ball you take the risk on. He came up with a nice play.
So 2 outs, and Dusty Brown will bat in the DH spot and replace Joey Butler. Brown, a veteran, has seen some travels, hoping to figure in as a possible third catching option for Ron Washington beyond Mike Napoli and Yorvi Torrealba. Miller falls behind him, 3 balls and no strikes. Rennie Osuna is in the on-deck circle. He replaced Matt Queta at second base, and he'll get a chance to hit. Base hit by Brown. Mather comes up firing. The throw is cut off. Prince is home and safe at second base. And it is 5-1 Rangers.
Good inning for the Ranger minor leaguers. They come up swinging the bats. They got 3 hits and almost a 4th hit, if it weren't for the beautiful play by Mather out in center field. A nice 2-out RBI hit by Brown gives the Rangers a little cushion.
First play at second, Bianucci taking almost too big of a turn, just able to scramble back. And here's Osuna. Ready, the 7th Ranger to hit here in the 8th. In there for strike 1-1. Strike 2. Rangers have out-hit the Cubs today 11-4. They've played flawless defense. And none of the 3 pitchers so far has issued a walk. Osuna drills that one high and gone. Over the wall in straightaway left field. And this is now a blowout.
Well, that's the one we've been talking about, right down the left field line. I'd love to see where Nelly Cruz could hit one if he got one up in the air down the left field line. He would hit about 600 feet right now. The wind is blowing hard. Won't help the ball to center field or right field. But if you hit it toward the left field line, it's going to fly out of here. And that's what happened with Osuna right there.
(8-1) our score. Lurie Garcia, the 8th batter faced by Miller here in the inning. As Osuna all smiles, as well he should be.
Well, it's a great thrill for the kids to get a chance to come to Las Vegas for the exhibition series against the Cubs. And then to get a chance to play in the game and perform just really adds to it. So hopefully they'll all get a chance to play in the big leagues, but history tells you that that's probably not going to be the case. So any chance a young player gets to star in a spring training game, it's a great thrill for them.
Garcia strikes out, but the Rangers get to Trevor Miller for 5 runs. On 4 base hits, the big blast, the 3-run homer by Rennie Osuna. It is 8-1 Texas. Guys, that one up and out. Home run off Ogando makes it 8-2.
Well, Cardenas led off the 6th inning with a hard hit base hit against Ogando. Now he leads off the 8th inning with a home run. Again, if you hit it to left field and get it up in the air and hit it well, you got a pretty good shot of getting it out of here right now. And I think Cardenas took a good swing and hit that ball well, got it up in the air, and the wind did the rest.
Catcher Steve Clevenger now up at Batter's Eye Club at Rangers Ballpark. Brand new, located above Greens Hill in center, overlooking the outfield, designed with the feel of an exclusive club. The climate-controlled enclosure features ballpark seats, private restrooms, and dining area. Back-to-back homers. And the Cubs want to scratch their way back into the game. Cardenas' blast matched by Clevenger.
That's a good time to keep the ball down and get ground balls. Don't let them get it up in the air. And that's pretty much been the case all game long. Wind's blowing a little bit harder now than it was earlier, but it was blowing the same way, same direction earlier in the game.
This is the 3rd inning for Alexi Ogando. He gave up a quick run in the 6th, but then retired the side in order in the 7th. 2 grounders and a strikeout. And a couple of cannon shots here at the bottom of the 8th.
I mentioned that Ogando was a starting pitcher last year until the postseason, and that it may be the case where he goes back into the bullpen this year. But the other side of it is you want to keep your options open, and that's why Ogando's into his 3rd inning right now. Continue to get stretched out, and then he'll be able to go into any role that seems to be there when the season starts. Fans are a little upset after 2 home runs that Reed Johnson got hit, but that was a breaking ball. Last thing Ogando is trying to do right there is hit someone in spring training. He just had a breaking ball get away from him.
No action in the bullpen. Rangers wanting to see Ogando get himself out of this tough 8th inning. Blake DeWitt, 1 for 3. That one driven high and deep to right field. But the wind knocks it down, and Jared Prince is there for the 1st out.
Yeah, and of the 3 bats, the 2 home runs and the fly ball at bats, that was probably the best hit ball. But the wind and blowing in that direction knocked that one down and blew the other fly balls right out of the ballpark. So they picked up a couple with the wind, and they just lost one because of the wind.
It has been blowing at that velocity or higher all afternoon. Here's Jim Adducci. He replaced Alfonso Soriano in left field. Double play depth. The Rangers hoping to turn 2 and limit the damage here to the 2 home runs. Eight runs on 12 hits, no errors for the Rangers. 3 runs on 6 hits and no errors for Chicago. Cubs had only 1 hit, only 1 base runner through 5 innings. Got to Alexi for a run on 3 hits in the 6th. Two to Adducci. With Joe Mather on deck, hoping he could extend the inning. Just inside in the full count. Fastball touching 93. Ball 4. 2 homers, a hit batsman, and a walk. In an inning in which Ogando had an 8-1 lead, and that will get Mike Maddox out for a visit. Still no one throwing in the bullpen. It's just about settling him down here.
Well, the way the ball is carried and the way the Cubs have swung the bats shows you how well that Holland and Adams threw the ball through the first 5 innings. They only gave up 1 hit, struck out 5, didn't walk anybody. Ogando hasn't been quite as sharp. And the Cubs have gotten some balls up in the air and scored some runs against him.
The Texas Rangers would like to thank Findlay Toyota for supplying us with vehicles during our stay in Las Vegas. Check them out at FindlayToyota.com. Findlay Toyota, we'll do anything to sell you a car. Joe Mather 0 for 3, but a spectacular diving catch of a deep drive in right center field. He's grounded to short, flied to left, and popped to third. Johnson is at second. Ducci at first. Still only 1 man out. He went around. It's 0-2. Tapped over Ogando. And the throw by Osuna is way wide. Johnson scores and Ducci scores. Mather all the way to third base on that little tapper.
Well, it's going to be a base hit all the way. And Randy Osuna just complicated matters by attempting to make the play at first. He didn't have the play at first. And really the only thing that can happen with that throw is something bad. It's going to be safe anyway. And the throw went wild and allowed a couple of runs to score. If you hang on to the ball, it's going to be a base hit. But you still got the bases loaded, no runs in. As it is, 2-run score on the error.
And it is 8-5. Brian Lahire out to Strasburger in left field. There is the second out, but it will produce a run as Mather tries and scores, and it's 8-6. So a 5-run outburst by the Cubs in the bottom of the 8th, matching the 5 the Rangers put up in the top of the inning. And I can't recall spring or regular season Alexi Ogando having any innings like this last year. This is his 3rd inning today. He's been pretty well mistreated by the Cub hitters here. Parade of backups. Blake Lally now batting, and Ramon Mendez begins to throw out the Rangers' left field bullpen. Mendez, very sharp day before yesterday in 1 inning of work against the Oakland A's. Looking hard throwing right-hander out there. And hopefully he's ready, because Ogando has fallen behind 3-0 to Lally. Pours that one in the first strike. 2 homers, a hit batsman, a walk. Infield single compounded by the error and a sacrifice fly, producing 5 Cub runs here in the inning. Most of 9,889 on hand, mostly cheering on this Cubs comeback. Very many dressed for the occasion on St. Patty's Day. This should end the inning. Rodriguez to Bianucci. But the Cubs see the Rangers get 5 in the 8th, and they match them in their half. We go on to the 9th. It's a 2-run game. A group of Ranger fans a lot happier before the Cubs bottom of the 8th inning. It is 8-6 Texas. Into the 9th inning we go. The new pitcher is Casey Weathers. Pitcher number 6 for Chicago today. He was out of Oak Grove, California. Came over the offseason from Colorado along with Ian Stewart. The trade that involved Tyler Colvin. And in the Ranger 9th, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Martin, Strasburger, and Rodriguez. Martin in the 7th inning robbed on the nice plays on both ends. A ground ball to the third baseman DeWitt, and a throw dug out terrifically at first base by LaHair. Weathers quickly behind Martin. 2 balls and no strikes. Weathers just last year reached as high as Double-A in the Rocky system. Almost hitting Leone's 3-0. This Chicago pitching staff from last year, though, one of the most ineffective in baseball, and there's a leadoff 4-pitch walk. And Martin aboard to begin the Ranger 9th inning. Cubs last year 25th in the majors in ERA, 26th in save percentage, only 62.5%. That was really awful save percentage.
A lot of disappointing late inning losses with those numbers.
The worst fielding team in either league. 134 errors, most they have committed since 1999. That's a lot for your offense to overcome, even playing at Wrigley Field. Weathers has yet to find the strike zone, almost hitting Strasburg.
Yeah, they're going to get someone warmed up quick because the 5 pitches haven't even come close. They haven't been around the strike zone. They're struggling right now to find the strike zone. That would be number 96. I think it's Kevin Roderick. But I wouldn't bet my life on it. I do know. I would bet my life it's number 96, though.
Martin back at first base. Strasburger kicked off the Ranger 5-run rally off Trevor Miller in the 8th with a loud leadoff double off the wall in left field. That one misses. All 6 pitches have from Casey Weathers. Finally a strike. Is shifted around now to more straight away in from center field. Martin beats the throw to second base.
And he left too soon, and the pitcher caught it. I'm sure an infielder yelled to him. He steps off, he looks, and unfortunately he throws it a little bit low. Just struggling right now, trying to throw the ball where he wants to, on the bases and to the catcher.
It's all a challenge. So Martin's scoring position with nobody out. It'll be a good hitter's pitch here for Strasburger. 2-1. And he drives it through on the right side. A base hit. Martin will be held at third by Dave Anderson.
A good job by Strasburger right there. Man on second, nobody out. He's trying to advance the runner. Hit the ball on the ground to right field is exactly what he did. He would, if it was right at the second baseman, he would have done his job. Move the man to third base. As it is, he finds a hole. Still nobody out, first and third. But that catches the manager's eye. Young kid coming up, getting a chance to play in a big league game, doing one of those fundamental things that doesn't show up in a box score.
Ryan has had 2 impressive hits just in these last 2 innings. Gilder Rodriguez. Others will start off behind Gilder. Rodriguez a sacrifice fly off Miller in the 8th. Sacrifice bunt, I should say. Watches that one go way wide, and it is 2 balls and no strikes. There goes the runner. And easily in is Strasburger with the Rangers' second stolen base in the inning.
Because Strasburger started a little bit too soon, stopped, and still got a great jump. It was a hit and run. Rodriguez missed the ball, but Strasburger with a big jump stole second base.
He's done a little of everything. Power, bad handling, situational hitting, and running. So 2 in scoring position. And a hitter's count for Gilder Rodriguez. Here's the 2-1 pitch. 3 balls and a strike. Infield creeping in. The bases are loaded for Jared Prince.
I feel bad for Casey Weathers. getting a chance to pitch in a big league game. He's just probably a little bit nervous. Heart's pounding a little bit, and he's just having a hard time settling down and throwing strikes like he normally does. Not an easy position for a young kid to be in. You kind of feel for him. You want to see everybody go out and do their best, especially kids that aren't going to be on the big league team, that are trying to make an impression, get a little experience. But he just struggled today trying to throw the ball over the plate.
So a pitching change with the Rangers hoping to add maybe greatly to an 8-6 lead. Loaded up, nobody out in the ninth when we return. They brought Well, there's been rain in the forecast, and it is finally showing up. Just at least a few drops at this point, as Kevin Roderick replaces Casey Weathers. Ozarka pitching change, and he inherits big trouble. Bases loaded on 2 walks and a single, nobody out. And Jared Prince takes ball 1.
Well, I will predict, Dave, that if it does rain, you won't see one of those 2-hour rain delays, because most of the fans have left. All the regulars have played. All the pitchers have got their work in. And if they have to put the tarp on the field, there might just be a mutual agreement to say, let's come get them tomorrow.
Just keep that tarp out there till around noon tomorrow. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, the forecaster's got the temperature right, low 50s.
I don't know if they've got a tarp. They do. I don't see it. Must be down the right field line.
Come to think of it, it is the desert. Rain delays just aren't factored in. 3 balls and no strikes. So Roderick, plagued by the same issues that chased Casey Weathers after just 3 batters. They do have one.
It is down the right field line.
And there's another walk for a run. 4 pitches, and Prince drives in Martin, the 3rd walk of the inning.
Yeah, again, I just feel bad for the young kids getting a chance to pitch. They want to come in and show what they can do. It's not easy. You come in with the bases loaded. You probably weren't expecting to pitch today anyway. And now you're in a big league game, maybe for the first time. And you're having a little hard time throwing strikes.
Brings up Mike Bianucci, Rangers first baseman. There's the strike. Bianucci last inning singled in a run and scored. 9-6 Rangers. That one bounces past Clevenger, and easily scoring from third is Strasburger. It's 10-6.
Well, I don't like to see this kind of an inning, even if it's the other team having it. Again, I just feel bad for the pitcher, but If it's got to happen to one team, I'm glad it's not happening to us.
Well, it has happened to the Rangers a few times this spring. 8th and 9th inning troubles. The minor leaguers on the mound. Good breaking ball there. Swing into this, 1-2. Turnabout fair play. 7 runs put up so far in the 8th and 9th by Texas. Little broken bat, looper, base hit. Just over Cardenas at second base. Gilder Rodriguez is home. It's 11-6.
Well, that was a pretty good pitch right there by Roderick. It was a slider down and away. Bianucci just reached out and hit it off the end of the bat. Because the infield was in, that little blooper fell in for a base hit. If the infield is back at normal position, that's an easy pop-up for the second baseman. But he was way in, and it allowed it to land just a little bit behind him for an RBI single.
First and third for Martin. That closes the book on the poor Casey Weathers. This is not going to do much for his earned run average. No innings, 3 batters faced. And they have all come home. A hit and 2 walks. First 5 batters have produced 3 walks and 2 singles, with a couple of stolen bases mixed in as well. High and tight to Martinez. Martinez's drive into right center field, producing the sensational diving catch by Joe Mather. The defensive highlight so far. A high strike. Evens the count at 1-1.
Factor in the things I mentioned about being a little nervous, getting a chance to pitch in a big league game. Then you factor in the wind's blowing about 30 miles an hour and it's starting to rain. Doesn't make it any easier.
Wind blowing straight in now. Most of the afternoon has been right to left. Chopped right side. Only the out at second base. Another run comes home. Jared Prince scores. It's 12-6. RBI fielder's choice for Luis Martinez. So finally the first out. Took 6 batters for that to be accomplished. And here's Dusty Brown. Brown an RBI single and a run scored in the 8th.
Well, this was a 3-1 game at the end of 7 innings. We've had 14 runs in an inning and a half.
Yeah, what happened to our sparkling pitchers duel? That's what it was.
Well, it turned into a typical spring training game.
Derek Holland almost untouchable. The starter went 4 innings, allowing only 1 hit. Struck out 2, did not walk a batter. Still hasn't issued a walk all spring. Mike Adams struck out the side in the 5th. All the runs scored by Chicago have come against Alexi Ogando. 1 run on 3 hits in the 6th and 5 runs on 3 hits in an error in the 8th. So they had drawn it down to 8-6 for the top of the 9th inning. The Rangers promptly pulling away. See if they can get 2 here and end the inning. A 4-run outburst as we head to the bottom of the 9th, the bottom third of the order due up for the Cubs, who trail Texas 12-6.
This week.
On for the ninth inning is Roman Mendez. He replaces Alexio Gando, who lasted 3 innings but was touched for a run in the 6th and then ran into some control issues. Gave up long balls to Cardenas and Clevenger. Hit a batter, issued the only walk rung up by Texas pitching today. And it was a 5-run, 3-hit, 1 error 8, but now with 4 in the 9th, the lead has become very comfortable for Mendez.
Well, this kid's got a good arm. We saw him pitch the other day. His fastball reached the mid-90s. Only 21 or 22 years old, so he's got a bright future ahead of him. Came over to the Rangers in the trade. They sent Jared Saltalamacchia to the Red Sox.
Mendez last year at Class A Hickory in the South Atlantic League went 9-1 with a .331 earned run average, mostly as a starter. Struck out 130 in 117 innings. He will not turn 22 until July 25th. Strapping Bill, 6'3", 192. Ball 1 to Junior Lake. There's a fastball for a strike at the knees at 93 miles an hour.
Let's go, Texas!
1-2. Remember, each of the next 2 games will be right here on Fox Sports Southwest, both at 3 o'clock. High drive, deep center field. Martin watches it sail out of here.
I'll tell you one thing, Junior Lake put a charge in that one. That was the best hit ball of the day.
Battling wind as well. 3rd homer in the last 9 at-bats for the Cubs.
They put a good swing on that. That's a big kid for a shortstop. He looks like he's about 6'2" or 6'3". Lanky.
Here's Cardenas, who started this home run barrage, taking Ogando deep with the first pitch of the 8th. First homer of the spring. He's also singled and scored. 3 o'clock tomorrow, these same 2 back here at Cashman Field in Las Vegas. Matt Harrison will be on the mound for the Rangers. Chris Volstad for Chicago. And then Monday afternoon, from Surprise, Rangers Milwaukee, Yu Darvish on the mound against Randy Wolf. We'll have them both. And this pretty quick worker. Tough hop that time, right over the dive by Bianucci. Prince fires to second base, not in time. Louis Garcia trying to get that tag slapped down on Cardenas. Couldn't quite get it in time.
Well, Cardenas has had 3 excellent at-bats in a row now. Take a great look at it right there. Very close play. Cardenas gets the call. He had a base hit and scored a run, a home run off of Gando. Now a well-hit ball off Mendez. Took a little bit of a hop. Bianucci was going to dive and try to catch it, but it bounced right over his head. Hard hit ball, though. 3 well-hit balls in a row now for Cardenas.
He's a triple from a cycle, for crying out loud.
Let's hope he doesn't get the chance to do it.
Yeah. The catcher Clevenger followed Cardenas' lead by homering on the first pitch he saw in the 8th from Ogando. 12-7 game. Rangers out in Chicago 14-9. And Roman Mendez on the mound trying to make this quick work, send everybody home before the clouds really get a chance to open up. Raindrops have subsided, it appears, for the moment, but Mendez still looking for his first out of the inning. Good backdoor breaking ball. 1-2. Lee Johnson will be next. He's gone all the way in right field, a leadoff hitter.
Outside corner, much like the strike before it.
So 1 out, bottom of the ninth. And to the top of the order, Reed Johnson, who has struck out twice, popped the first. And the last time up, he got plunked by an Ogando breaking ball.
The Cubs have had 6 players play the whole game. Reed Johnson is one of them. Not many substitutions.
Boy, Johnson almost corkscrewing himself right into the dirt. That huge cut.
Back foot looked like it slipped out from underneath him. A little dusty there at home plate. They could use a little bit of that clay that you normally see at home plate.
Strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes.
They're struggling with his fastball, but he's coming back and got an out and a head miss count with a curveball.
He's now blowing straight away out to center field. And the 0-2 pitch. Gloved by Garcia. Just in time at first to retire Johnson, and the Rangers now 1 out away from victory.
Well, Johnson's a veteran, but he busted it to first base in this 12-7 ball game and almost beat that play out. Garcia got it over there, but just in time.
So Mendez now turns his attention to Blake DeWitt. 1 for 4, a couple of hard hit balls though. He lined out to Borbone in center. Single in the 6th, fly to right in the 8th. Also a pop-up. All the way to third base. Mendez settling down nicely after the home run double start to this inning. Strikeout, ground out. It's out ahead of DeWitt 0-1. Harness leading off third. Two outs. The 1-1 pitch. Now right in front of first base coach Dave McKay, and the Cubs are down to their final strike. Strike away from a 5-game losing streak in Cactus League play. Here's the 1-2. Just missed, just able to check that swing, and it's 2-2.
That Sean Green down there just in case Mendez can't get out of this inning, has to throw too many pitches. He'll be ready.
But he shouldn't be needed as Martin hauls it in, and the Rangers take a 12-7 victory. Lots of offense, 14 base hits, supporting Derek Holland's second spring win without a loss. 4 shutout innings, allowing only 1 base hit. Mendez allows a hit to begin the inning, the home run by Lake, then the double by Cardenas, but retires the next 3. The Rangers, with the victory, improve their record to 4-9-1. We'll be back in Vegas to wrap this one up in a moment.